This is the 25th Annual Mayor's Cup, sponsored by King's College and Wilkes University.
Welcome inside McCarthy Stadium, everyone. We're in Wilkes-Barre Township, Luzerne County. This afternoon, it's the return of the Mayor's Cup game, a battle between Wilkes University and King's College. A pleasant good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to a rainy Robert Belzer Field here at King's College. And joining me today will be Brendan Murphy on the sidelines, and in the booth, former Bloomsburg University Husky Stan Kaharski, a longtime coach in our area. And we talked to the coaches this week, and everyone knows it. 3 blocks apart, that's what separates these two schools.
Probably the only rivalry in the country where the student athletes see each other on a regular basis. They interact with each other socially, perhaps academically as well. So it makes for an interesting situation between these two teams.
Let's talk about Wilkes University first. They won their first 5 games. They've lost 2 of their last 3, but they have one of the most dynamic quarterbacks in the league. It's his last game, and that's Jose Tabora.
He's been phenomenal. He's thrown for over 7,600 yards, 60-some touchdowns. He's just been the real deal, and certainly Wilkes is going to miss him when he graduates.
Absolutely. Wilkes has the 3rd-ranked offense in the MAC. So to stop that offense, Kings is going to have to play something they haven't done in the last 2 weeks, and that's play defense. They've lost those 2 games. They're going to rely on a high school native. He's a high school superstar in the area from Old Forge, Brendan Mozaleski.
Yeah, he's had a great career here, and hopefully he'll be back next year to play. But he's a tough kid. He has that DNA from Old Forge, like the other 4 or 5 players that are from Old Forge. So Brendan's had a great career here.
Absolutely. So what do the coaches think? It's raining. What will it look like? Let's go to Brendan now on the field with the coaches.
Thanks, Bob. I'm down here with the 2 coaches here pregame. We're going to start here with Wilkes coach, John Drock. Your team had a tough loss against Delaware Valley last week, but that is a very good team. So what can you take away from that loss to build forward going into today?
I think we got to take it every rep. We have a very young football team, and we're learning throughout the course of the season. I think that we've been putting ourselves in some difficult situations with some of the turnovers and stuff. If we can eliminate those today, we're going to be in a much better spot.
It's rivalry week in college football. This is one of the premier rivalries in northeastern Pennsylvania. What can you say about this rivalry as a whole, especially considering the fact you guys didn't get to play the game last year?
I mean, it's a special rivalry. I think that families are split up with Kings and Wilkes grads. The geographic location of the universities is a unique thing. I know it's very special to our student athletes on both sides of this rivalry. You know, we're very thankful and fortunate to be able to play it this year, not being able to play it last year. So it's a great experience, and we're looking forward to that today.
Kings has a very good rushing attack. What do you have to do defensively to limit the rushing yards for them?
We need to control the line of scrimmage. You know, we got to win our one-on-ones up front. Then our backers got to be able to play over the top and make plays and tackles.
Well, thanks, Coach. Good luck today. We're to move over here to Kings coach Jeff Nahr. Hasn't been the season you've been expecting, but like I said, it's rivalry week. Everybody seems to take their game to the next level. What can you say about what this means to your team?
Oh, it means everything. Again, it's the geographic location. It's a unique rivalry. You play for a trophy. It's 2 schools in a city separated by 3 blocks, with kids that played with kids on the Wilkes side, families that have alums of Kings, alums of Wilkes. So it's a kind of a whole special thing where the whole city kind of gets around it. And then to not play last year, hurt a lot of our kids. Like we're always talking about that during the week. Hey, this is when we're preparing for Wilkes. So it's exciting to get that game back, and you kind of realize how special the game is when it's taken away from you. So our kids are excited to come out here and play their best one last time.
Jose Tabora from Wilkes is one of the most prolific passers in the area. What can you do defensively to limit the yards for them?
He's the man. I mean, he's been here forever. I think, thank God, he's finally done. The key with him is just try to keep him, in the box, all that run wild. He can make plays with his feet, with his arm. He's headsy. He's gutsy. I mean, he's just a competitor, and you've seen that. We've seen it since he was a freshman here. So the whole idea is to just try to, keep him under control to the best that we can.
Lastly, what would a win in this game mean to you to cap off a season?
I mean, for our seniors, it gets them, to 5-5, and then you always want to, win as many as you lose or more than that. So it kind of does that, from that standpoint. Gets the, Mayor's Cup again when it's the rivalry and how special it is. It just kind of, overcome some of the mistakes that we made in the season with some of the tough losses that we had. That this one's all wins a win, but this is a more of a special win. If they can get it, and it kind of sets them on the right tone and cements their legacy, and obviously gives the momentum as you head to the off season.
Well, thanks a lot, Coach. Good luck in this game today to both of you. Bob, let's go back to you.
Thank you, Brendan. In the last 10 games, these teams have split 5-5. The last one coming over 600 days ago when Wilkes won by 10. It's the 25th Annual Mayor's Cup. It's the cup they all want to take home. It can make or break a season. It's Wilkes University and King's College next.
You're watching the 25th Annual Mayor's Cup, sponsored by King's College and Wilkes University.
We are back, both teams on the field. We're ready to go. Kings won the toss, and they deferred to the second half. So Wilkes will receive the opening kick in this 25th Annual Mayor's Cup matchup. Whitaker and Jules deep to receive the Kyle Prskavich kick. And after a 2-year wait, the Mayor's Cup is back in Wilkes-Barre. It's Whitaker from his 13. Good speed on Whitaker if he can get the edge. He does. Nice tackle on the outside, and Wilkes will start right at the 25-yard line, and we'll see Jose Tabora. There's a flag down. We'll see what it is going to be hold. But we'll take a look at Tabora. We talked about his overall numbers, Coach, but he's thrown for 1,400 yards this year, 9 interceptions.
Yeah, obviously you want to try to avoid that, especially today. Now, with the ball being a little slippery because of this rain, Bob, it could be a factor in terms of what's going to happen here.
So off the holding penalty, the offense will come on to the 15-yard line. This is an offense that puts up 367 yards per game. They also average 25 points per game. So when it's going right, it's going right. Last week they were shut out, though, by Del Val, 30-0. Tabora there, and Mozaleski on the stop, along with Miles Shelton.
Bad snap that time. At least it was not handled cleanly. Obviously, Tabora tries to get upfield, and he's stopped.
Is there a hangover from what happened last week with the Colonels? I mean, their offense only put up 70 total yards in that game against Del Val.
They've got to do much better if they're going to compete in this game.
Jules with some room. Not much going. So it'll be 3rd and long now facing the Colonels offense.
Obviously, it's a passing situation. You can see that Kings is going to switch their defense up a little bit, taking 2 of their bigger people out, probably going to a cover.
Jules, not the featured back all year. Kamal Reed, who's a first-year player, he had good numbers. He is out for this game. So Jules has gotten the start the last couple of weeks against Kings, though. He did put up 116 yards. So a big 3rd down here early on. A team that does 38% on 3rd down possessions tonight, through the year, excuse me. Whitaker well covered. Goes incomplete. Great defense there from Tion Shara.
Coach said that Tion's somebody for us to watch. He's going to line up against Nate Whitaker, who's had a very, very good year.
So Orlando comes on to punt this away. Bucella's deep, around the 40-yard line. So Kings should come out of this with good field position, good defensive stand against a Kings defense that was giving up 23 points per game on the year. Low kick, take a Wilkes bounce, but the offense will come on with great field position at their 46-yard line. So the 2-quarterback system for the Colonels. Tyler Moore is listed as the starter. You see his numbers on the year. He has 6 interceptions. But let's see who comes out, though, first, Coach. It will be number 17. We'll also see a lot of Tekoa Giedis out of Palmerton. He's number 11.
Dakota, I think, is the 2nd leading rusher for Kings, and that's kind of unusual that the quarterback is, especially when you're splitting time.
Kings coming off a loss last week, 35-10 down at Stevenson. Ellis and the big, burly, 5'10", 250-pound first-year player out of Philadelphia powers up for 8.
It's a very strong run right up the middle. There you can see he makes one good step. He plants that leg. He's just 1 yard shy of that first down.
Cole Jesmer makes a stop for the Colonel. So a good opening play for a Kings College team that averages 17 points per game, about 311 yards per game. Three-man rush. Basella, end around, powers forward, and he will pick up the first down for the Monarchs inside Colonel's territory.
That was a nice job by number 4, Adago. He forced the play back inside where the backers were able to make that stop. You see, there's a nice job doing there.
Basella 368 yards coming in. He does touch the ball a lot. He was a quarterback for 2 years here, Basella was, and he shifted over to wide receiver when he was a junior. This will be his last game, most likely, here as a Monarch. So good start for the Kings offense. Three-man rush. No one open, Moore throws it into the ground.
I don't know whether that slipped out of his hand or whether he intentionally threw that at the feet of one of the defenders.
Kings' problems on offense revolve around what? We watched the game last week against Stevenson.
Yeah, they didn't run the ball really that effectively, and then certainly there were some couple of turnovers that really hurt them because they were in the game going into the first half. And then there was a block punt and then a real quick touchdown by Stevenson.
Quick out to Basella, in and out of his hands. I'm not sure if he would have had much going on. So let's take a look at the offense for the Monarchs. As we talked about Tyler Moore in the backfield, we'll see Robinson, a first-year player, and Cohen as well. He's a senior. Wide receivers are pretty good. Basella, we talked about him coming up over 1,000 yards receiving for Basella out there. Watch out for Herman as well. And up front, we'll talk about this. A couple seniors in there. A sophomore, Trevor Brown. He is out of Old Forge. %31% on the year for third down for Kings. They'll need one here. Slips out of Moore's hands, and it's intercepted. But we have flags all over the place.
That could be pass interference on the part of Wilkes. Nice interception.
Yeah, Dylan Walk out of Western Wayne pulled it in, but I think Najir Woods may have pulled Basella down. We'll take a look at the replay.
15-yard penalty. That'll bring up a first down for Kings.
Bill Murphy, our referee today in this Mid-Atlantic Conference game.
Walk did a great job coming out of his safety position. You'll see it here. Quarterback steps up in the pocket. And a lot of closing speed by Dylan, and he just takes that away from him.
What you didn't see was Woods pulling Basella down. I mean, I thought the pass may have come out of his hands a little bit awkwardly. It is a wet ball. It is raining out there, folks.
Even during warm-ups, there were not a lot of spirals being exchanged by the quarterbacks.
Good hard count by Moore. Who moved first? That's the question mark. A referee will tell us.
Offside.
Going to go against Wilkes, so we'll give them 5 yards. And Kings' opening drive of this first quarter, so far so good. Helped by that penalty. There you see Jeff Narr, 12th season here with Kings College. Took over for Rich Manello. Here's the play, last play. I don't know if we see right there.
Yes, he pulled him down.
Quick out to Robinson. Powers forward, about a yard short of the first down. So quick little out.
That ball slipped out of the hands of the quarterback. This is going to be a factor in this game. If it continues to drizzle as it is, the ball is going to be wet by the end of this game.
Robinson on that catch, 2nd and 5.
Kings are deep of Wilkes' territory.
More nice pass. Receiver Basella may have slipped down on the wet turf. So third down and short now facing
Third down.
Kings.
Third down and 3.
Shamwar, there it is, a ball.
Wobbly ball.
Yeah, and again, I'm not sure which of the receivers he was throwing to because they were stacked one on top of the other. I would suspect Shamar Moore or Ellis is going to get the football.
Ellis and the big fullback powers through for a first down. They're inside the red zone for Kings College on the move here, trying to get up in this Mayor's Cup.
It's a good call. Again, he hit that line going full speed, was able to pick up that first down. The ball is inside the 15-yard line. You'll see him here. He's a big young man.
250 pounds out of Philadelphia. He came in with 267 yards and a touchdown. And they've been featuring him the last couple of weeks. Nice blocking by the line up front as well. Back to Ellis.
And again, he's spun out of an initial hit by the Wilkes defense. Picked up 5 yards.
Second and 6.
Kings in the red zone this year, 20 of 31. That includes 13 touchdowns.
One thing about this drive, it keeps the ball out of the hands of the Colonels.
Two wideouts to the left, Ellis in the backfield. Colonel showing blitz. Ellis has a nice little gap, and he'll be about 2 yards short of a first down. They can get a first down at the 4-yard line.
They've got about 3 yards to go.
Oh, 3.
He's a punishing runner. I mean, he's low to the ground. He drops those hips on contact by the defenders.
Dante Gonzalez, sophomore, was the first Colonel to hit him, and he got thrown back, and then the cavalry came in. Back to Ellis, little hole, closes quickly. It's going to be depend on the
Going to
stop.
be short.
Yeah, he's a yard short. So Jeff Nahr, decision to make on the opening possession. And it looks like the offense will stay on the field. Called a long two on the spot.
Brendan Robinson comes back on the field, and Ellis is coming off.
So fourth down on the year, 13 of 32 for this offense, 40%. Colonel's defense is giving up 59% though, when they have to stop it. So percentages in the favor of Kings here in the first quarter. Nice drive. Robinson, shifty, cuts in. Touchdown, Monarchs!
Robinson. 6 yards out. Touchdown, Kings. Robinson.
Robinson picks up his 7th touchdown on the year. Had a little bit of a gap, and that's all he needed.
That was a nice run, Bob. He stuck his left foot in the ground and accelerated into the end zone right there.
Just made it as Dylan Walk fell on top of him. I didn't see where the knee was. So Piscavage on for the PAT.
Piscavage's kick is up. It is good.
And it is
With 8:36 to go in the first
good.
quarter. Kings 7, Wilkes University nothing.
8:36 remaining. We'll take a timeout. Monarchs up at home early, 7-0.
Welcome back here to McCarthy Stadium. I am joined by Kings Athletic Director Cheryl Ish. Cheryl, it's great to have you here. The first thing I wanted to ask you is just to talk a little bit about the campus here at Kings, about the experience that the students will have.
You know, I've been at Kings for a very long time, and I will say it is absolutely a special place. It is somewhere where, you know, no matter what you are interested in, there is something for you. If you are a student athlete, we have 29 sports. And if you are into, theater, we have a vibrant theater program, student government, pretty much anything that you want to get involved with, we offer it at Kings.
I know you mentioned some of the different unique aspects. What kind of outside of athletics, what kind of other activities do you see students participating in around the campus?
You know, it's something where we offer so many different things. You know, so if you with the opportunity for study abroad, leadership programs through the government, writing for the school newspaper and the Crown. It's just really a place that it is hard to fall through the cracks. It's a place where there are so many layers of support between our faculty, our coaches, our residents' life, that, once you're here on campus, you are going to feel that you are supported and everyone is rooting for you.
For sure. Cheryl, it was great to have you, and we look forward to a great game and a great season of athletics for Kings and a great year going forward. So thanks a lot for having us.
Thank you.
Bob?
Bye.
Thank you, Cheryl, for joining us, and we happy we are back. Just about our 11th broadcast of this Mayor's Cup game, believe it or not, and great support from both schools, and we really appreciate that. So Wilkes has the ball, their second possession, and it's really going nowhere on that first play there.
Bob, we've talked all week about how you throw everything out as you approach this game, that the records mean very little. And so far in the first 7 or 8 minutes of this game, Kings has really shown to have the upper hand.
Couple yards on that. Big hit by Mozaleski. Pulls his finger on and said, "You can't do that against me."
He's a tough kid.
Going to bring up a third down.
He's not very big, Bob, but whatever size he has, he uses with great force.
That was Malachi Siore, looks like carrying the ball for Wilkes and in the backfield. DeBoer, nowhere to go. Wilkes will be forced to punt. 3 plays, just about 5 yards.
Going to bring up a fourth down. Punting situation for the Colonels.
Pacella's back to receive.
Back to punt. Pasella deep for Kings.
Orlando to punt it away again. Kings should get good field position out of this. This is a little bit better of a kick than last time. Pacello with the return, starting from the 33. Has room. Inside Colonel territory, down to the 40-yard line. We'll take a quick look now at the Wilkes defense today. Ricci gets the start from the outside, back after an injury. Ramos, S, and Piston in there as well. Linebackers, again, very active. Wilkes always has some good linebackers. Watch out for the twins, Nick Gazala and Dante Gazala. They've combined for almost over 100 and some tackles on the year, and the secondary has already been tested. The junior out there, Nasheer Woods from Piscataway, is the only upperclassman in the secondary.
They're a young team. We spoke with the coach earlier this week, and he's very optimistic about the youth in the program.
Back to Ellis. Stiff arm one. Power another. 3 guys to take him down. First down, Monarchs inside the 30.
Ellis pulling his way for the first down for Kings.
Shamar Ellis has had 260-some yards prior to this game, and he has shown he's quite the man. A stiff arm there. Again, what I like about him so far, Bob, is his hips are down, his shoulders are down, ready to take on contact.
Well, the Kings offense has come to play today after suffering 2 losses. One of those unexpected maybe to Misericordia just a couple weeks ago. Play action to Basella in the end zone.
Just slightly overthrown.
Incomplete.
I like that, though, to take a shot on first down inside the 30-yard line. Here we see the ball. It's close. It just slightly overthrown. He was on top of his defensive back. That ball was kept in the field. It was going to be a score. Brendan Robinson is now in the backfield.
Robinson, another first-year player on Radnor. leading rusher coming in, 616 yards. They'll give it to him. He has a little bit of a gap. Taken down.
Bob, there's an interesting contrast between the two running backs. You have Ellis, who's like a bowling ball, and then you have Robinson, who's much slighter of build, but a little bit quicker.
Like Guarino with the tackle, number 77 for Wilkes. Third down. Cut back from Robinson. Bounces off one tackler, and they'll mark him back after this. He had nice yardage. We have a kernel down. Then he got bounced back, and that's where they're going to mark it. So fourth down on the way.
Yeah, he accelerated into that hole and was tackled and knocked back a little bit, and then tried to get to the outside and was tackled.
The Monarchs will be attempting a field goal.
So the field goal unit comes on. You see that play. Pascavage is 9 of 12 on the season. He has a long of 43. They'll key it up at the 30. So a 40-yard field goal in the rain. The wind is kind of swirling around, not really that hard at this point. Good snap, good hold. Kick is up. Will it make it? It is going to be short and wide to the right. So Kings' field goal attempt is no good, and they continue to lead this one 7-0. 4:19 remaining in this first quarter. But you got to like Monarchs have caught out with a lot of spunk, a lot of energy.
A lot of energy. You can see that on both sides of the football. Their running backs are running hard, are hitting holes, breaking tackles, and on defense, they're doing a great job in stopping the run on the part of the Wilkes Colonels.
Colonels have to show something on offense. They've really been negated the last 4 quarters, including last year's game. Is Jules. He's hit right behind the line of scrimmage.
Flag on the play.
And a late flag.
Flag on the play.
It's going to be personal foul.
Little or no gain, maybe lost, but there is a flag.
See what the referees have to say.
Now that's a good defensive play on the part of Kings, but it's going to be negated, I think, by a personal foul.
Personal foul. 15-yard penalty again.
So it goes against the Monarchs.
It'll be a first down for the Colonels.
Dylan White was the first guy to hit him.
They make a good defensive play, and now you get this penalty. And earlier, the pass interference penalty on Wilkes enabled Kings to continue their drive. They've got to, both teams need to avoid penalties, especially this type of penalty.
4-man rush. Tabora looked to pass. He's going to go on to Whitaker. Whitaker can't pull it in. Just out of his reach. He had a step on the defender, but it goes incomplete.
Whitaker's had a great year. Again, he's averaging almost 20 yards per catch and run. He's had games where he scored 3 touchdowns and caught balls over 270 yards.
From Harper Darby as a sophomore, he'll be back. And one thing Coach Strock talked about, how young his team is. Suori nowhere to go again. Great stop. Another tackle for a loss.
Number 25.
Yeah. Carcio, the junior, pulls it in here. Look at it again.
Nice job. He comes up, stays square to the line of scrimmage, and he's able to take the ball carrier down. It's 3rd and 11.
Three wideouts in there. Tabor looking left, looking. Over the middle, short of a first down. It is complete to Devin Higgins. But that'll bring up 4th down and short. And You're in no position, I think, here to
On the catch, it'll bring up a
go on
down.
for it on 4th down.
No, and they should. He slides up into the pocket. He does find an open receiver. The receiver had to come back to catch the football. Receivers need to get to the sticks. They need to make sure that they're going to, if they're going to catch the football, they're going to catch it for a first down.
So another punt for Orlando, came in averaging 40 yards. He's put 8 inside the 20. Masella stands at the 16. Low line kick. And it will go just inside the 20, so number 9 for Orlando. And Kings will face their toughest field position starting this game so far.
That was a slow, the snap was low, and the knee of the punter almost on the turf. If that would have happened, the ball would have turned over to Kings. The rain seems to be coming down a lot harder at this point, Bob.
Yeah, it's been off and on all, I should say, a light rain to a steady rain, back and forth, and a little bit steadier now. And a wet football really.
You're being
faced
kind
more.
saying it's steady.
Okay.
It's coming down at an angle.
Oh, so the wind is starting to pick up. Is that what you're telling me?
I'm telling you that.
In the backfield, the defense is there. Steele Hess out of Whitehall makes the tackle for a loss.
That's a great name for a football player, Steele.
3 or 4 yards on the play. Second down and long.
So it brings up a 2nd and 14, 4-yard loss. And how does this change your game plan coming in?
A lot. Again, you can anticipate that the weather might be bad if you're watching the forecast, but it's certainly going to inhibit the pass game to some degree.
3-man rush. And they're going to get him from behind. Angel Ramos from Parkland. His 3rd sack on the season.
We're seeing a change in field position, which is going to be a big factor. It's 3rd and about 16. Tries to slide up in the pocket. And 95 comes off his
He works
blocker.
off his block, yeah.
That's what happens with quarterbacks. They're coached to slide up in the pocket, but you can't determine whether those guys that are being blocked on the outside are going to come back out under you.
Late flag. You saw some twitching up front from the Colonels. A hard count again from Moore. Area Colonels already have a penalty for offsides in the quarter. And they'll give 5 yards back to Kings, but still be 3rd down and long.
Bring up a 3rd down and 11.
That helps a little bit.
10. 5-yard penalty. 3rd and 10.
The rain now on your coming down at an angle on your screen right to left. Here comes the blitz. Little shovel pass to Brennan.
Robinson on the draw play.
Huge hit put on by John Washington on Robinson. No flag down. He'll be short of the 1st down.
They're lucky to get that back because that was a fumble.
Here again. The handoff, not a shovel pass.
Coming on the field for the Monarchs.
Lowers his shoulder.
Vicious
that
hit.
was a fumble.
That was a fumble.
And a ball rolls right back into a Monarch.
John Washington was the tackler on that play.
Anthony Prado.
Prado in to his first punt today. Jules back to receive. High snap. Being chased. Gets a low kick away.
Oh, wow.
And takes a huge roll for Kings. If the ball's rolling your way, it's rolling your way.
Prado gets the punt away.
No flag. And Wilkes will have it inside their own territory as the quarter ends.
Kings 7, Wilkes nothing.
So a lot can happen in the Mayor's Cup, and we've seen it already this afternoon. Quarter number 2 on the way from Wilkes-Barre, 7-0 Monarchs.
Welcome back to McCarthy Stadium as we get set to start the 2nd quarter. Kings leads at 7-0. back on October 26th, Kings made history when they played Albright College with a big win over them. Kickers Alyssa Accordino and Delaney Hilferty became the 5th and 6th female kickers in NCAA history to record a point, and first pair of teammates. Delaney, who was recruited in to be a kicker on that team, came in for her first extra point try following a touchdown catch from Brennan Robinson with just over 10 minutes left in the fourth quarter. Accordino followed her roommate by drilling her first extra point try late in the fourth quarter. It was a historic day for the Kings College athletic department and for those two young ladies. Bob, back to you.
Well, maybe we'll see them today, one of those young ladies, on a wet day.
I saw some video when they hit their extra points. It was pretty interesting.
Yeah, they made national news.
Yes, they did.
Congratulations to those young student athletes. On the field, a first down was picked up. Getting a lot of work out of Ciori in the backfield. He wasn't even listening on the two deep.
Kings is doing a good job putting Wilkes in a situation where it's 3rd and long.
So another third down facing this Colonel's offense that really hasn't gotten much going here in this game. Stacking the line are the Monarchs. Tabora has some running room, but it closes quickly. It will be short of the first down. And the all-time leading passer in Wilkes history has not been able to throw the ball down the field at all today.
He looked a little hesitant that time too, Bob. When he pulled the ball underneath and started running for that first down, he had a cut to make and he didn't quite get it done.
So the defense playing well. Another punt coming on for Wilkes. Good snap. High and long, but not very, and it is deep from the 9, Basella. A lot of white jerseys around him. They make the tackle, and the Colonels have the ball just outside their own 20-yard line. Excuse me, the Monarchs do have the ball. So let's take a look at some keys to the game.
Here we see the Kings need to contain Jose Tabora. Wilkes has had a balanced offense all throughout the course of the year, both running and scoring from the pass as well. They've got to get it going, though. At this point right now, the Kings College defenders have really put it to the Wilkes team.
The only touchdown came in the opening possession of the game from Kings. And back to Ellis, and he has a gap. He powers through, knocking down Colonels, up for another first down for Kings.
Kings has definitely found something that's going to be very effective for them. Unless Wilkes is going to be able to change up their defense a little bit. Again, we see that Ellis is hitting that line of scrimmage at full speed. He's finding a gap.
This time, they close in on Ellis.
See, there's a good example, Bob. The gaps were filled by the defenders, and again, Shamar had to make a cut in the backfield rather than getting through to the line of scrimmage and then making a cut.
So Guidas, the Palmerton native, number 11, is in at quarterback for the first time. Throwing for 314 yards. Really, he does it with his legs. 323 yards running and 3 touchdowns on the year. And there you go. He takes off. He's grabbed by his jersey by Hess, and the Whitehall grad pulls down the quarterback. No gain on the play.
Steelhest did a good job that time. Here you'll see him.
Third down, I should say.
He's coming off. He was being held, so it was a great effort on his part.
It's a strong kid if he can pull him down. He came in with 37 total tackles, 5 for a loss. So 3rd and long facing the Monarchs. And both teams have really not shown much offense since the opening drive from Kings. 3-man front. Wilkes is going to drop 8. Giedis looking, and it's intercepted. It is picked off by Dante Gonzala, his second INT of the year, and great field position now for the Colonels.
That was a poor decision on the part of the quarterback. There was no, I didn't see a receiver there at all. He breaks out of the pocket. So far, mistakes, Bob, on the part of both teams have put them in a field position.
They have now an opportunity. Good job by Wilkes. Tabor looking long to the end zone for Whitaker. He's bumped and in and out of his hand, no flag.
That was a catchable ball. At least from up here you could see it. He had his man beaten. The pass was thrown pretty much on line. Let's see. We look at the replay.
And 10.
So an opportunity there for Tabor to get one into the end zone. If you're Wilkes, what do you need to do better on offense today?
Well, they've got to have some consistency. They haven't run the ball effectively at all. And again, Bob, go back to last week, 70 yards total offense, whether they have a hangover.
So Tabor, he shoots through, nice gain, about 8.
And they're in pretty good field position here. They're almost to the 30-yard line. Coach was telling us how athletic Tabor is. And not only has he been able to throw the ball, but he said he really creates opportunities for him to run, and he's an excellent runner.
So 3rd and short now facing the Colonels.
And this could be 2-down territory for them.
We're almost in a position where we need to go for it. Down 7. Jules slips. Siori slips down.
It's going to be a little short.
Yeah, 4th and a yard now facing the Colonels and Jonathan Drock in his 3rd season with Wilkes, 20-10 overall. He's going to send in the play. He's really brought this high-powered spread offense in.
Well, he was a quarterback. You know, and it's interesting to see his resume. He was very successful as a quarterback. He's coached quarterbacks for quite a number of years.
And he's a tall guy. He's like 6'5", 6'6". 29% on the year on 4th down. Siori has it. He has room. He's tripped up at the 10 by Carcio. He saves a touchdown for the Monarchs, but it's 1st and goal, Colonels.
He slips through, and he tries to elude. And a diving tackle at Carcio.
First down.
Now think about this, Bob. Both teams, if Wilkes is able to score here, it's because of an interception. In the earlier part of the game, there was a pass interference call that led to the touchdown. Mistakes.
Good job by the Monarchs there.
Number 49 had the initial hit.
Siori, again, a lot of playing time. He only had 6 carries coming in, but again, we haven't seen a lot of Jules, not a lot of Curry. Reed is out, so they're going down on the depth chart for Wilkes today at the running back position. Now, Jules comes in, number 13. Ball's just outside the 10.
Empty backfield. Trips, 5 receivers. Trips right.
Fake the end around Tabor behind some blockers. Tabor
Quarterback.
dives. Touchdown, Wilkes.
Tabor from 11 yards out. Touchdown Coos.
11-yard carry,
Jose Tabor.
and Tabor does it with his feet. His 4th touchdown rushing on the season.
Your big players have to make big plays. And Tabor does a great job here getting into the end zone. This is RPO. He kept the ball, found the space inside the interior of the A gap.
Pollock will attempt the point after.
Pollock in for the PAT to tie this one up. Snap is good. PAT is good, and this 25th annual Mayor's Cup is tied. 7:39 left in the half.
Kings College.
And welcome back here to King College. November is National Diabetes Awareness Month, and the students at Wilkes University are doing a great job of helping spread awareness for diabetes. I know that's a big issue in this country and the world right now. So, starting off, what can you tell us about what Wilkes is doing to raise more awareness for the disease?
Actually over this last month, we've been able to train over 50 of our pharmacy students to go out into the community and perform these blood glucose screenings. And actually, for example, on campus next Thursday, we're going to be holding a free event where we'll be doing this for our Wilkes community.
This is Amanda Albright with me, by the way. What tips can you share for our viewers at home about maybe some of the signs of diabetes to be aware of?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Especially with it being National Diabetes Month, my biggest tip would be to talk to your doctor about getting screened. So every 17 seconds, a new patient is diagnosed with diabetes. So even during this interview, 5 more people are going to be diagnosed. And people think if they don't have any of the big signs that you see with diabetes that they're, in the clear, and that's not true. And the best place to find it is through your doctor and to talk to them and just have that conversation.
So what can our viewers do as well, especially with pharmacists, because I know they are able to help us out a lot. How can they help us in the fight?
Yeah, absolutely. Pharmacists are one of the easiest healthcare professionals to access. Just go to your local pharmacy, and then what they can do is, like, for a condition like diabetes, that you have a lot of medication devices, such as like insulin or injectables. Your pharmacist can help clear that up with you. And then, of course, with like over-the-counter medications, if you're on any prescriptions, just talk to your pharmacist about what's safe for you.
So one last question. We all know we've been dealing with the COVID-19 pandemic for the last year. So what is your passion for becoming a pharmacist done to help with the battle against COVID-19?
Yeah, of course. My passion personally has only expanded because more now than ever, it's evident that pharmacists are essential to the front line. And we're the ones able to communicate any misinformation on social media, as well as educate our patient through these very confusing times.
Yeah, that is one of the most important things. And thank you for everything you did during the pandemic. I'm sure it was very helpful. We thank all of our frontline workers during the COVID-19 pandemic. Bob, let's go back to you.
Enough for the first down.
Thank you, Brendan. Great interview there. On the field, a first down picked up. Nice pass.
Yeah, again, the ball's coming out a little strange. I think the weather's impacting the quarterback's ability to have a clean pass. First down in that series, Bob, the ball was thrown, but it was down into the turf.
Tyler Carey out of Old Forge for Kings made the catch, and what an Old Forge connection on this Monarch team. Carey over, great catch by Herman out of Whitehall, and a first down and knocked out of bounds by Gonzala. Kings on the move.
That was John Washington. It's a nice job of keeping your eyes downfield on the part of the quarterback. You can see he pumped once or twice. And there's Washington putting the stick on the receiver.
That's 2 big hits for Washington on the day.
All clean too, Bob, all shoulder pads.
Robinson
On the
dragged down.
Couple. Second down.
Tackle down the
7.
inside and picks up about 3 yards.
Again, They got to get jerseys that are tight to their bodies. There's been a number of holding on to jerseys today.
Yeah, Kellen Redmond out of St. Pete, Florida made that tackle. He's another first-year player.
How did he find Kings?
Well, Kings found him, or Wilkes found him, I
Wilkes,
should say.
rather.
Yeah. Well, second down and long. Ellis puts his head down, and he's met by Cole Jesmer, the senior linebacker.
Shy about 5 yards.
Third down coming up. Wholesale changes coming in.
I don't think that was Ellis that time. I think it was somebody else. Ellis is back.
So the big first-year player in the backfield. They'll fake it to him. To the outside.
Fourth pass incomplete. Fourth down.
Trying to, looks like, get it to Cohen, the H-back, Brendan Cohen. His 27 catches coming in. And fourth down now, the punt team comes on for the Monarchs.
The weather has affected the accuracy of the quarterback's passes. There's no question about that. That receiver was wide open, but the pass was off the mark.
So the field position advantage, though, should go to Kings on this if Prado can put it inside the 20 instead of 4 times this year. Good snap on that. Low kick. Takes a bounce. Almost hit a Wilkes player, and the Monarchs pull it down inside the 15 at the 14-yard line. So keys to the game for Wilkes midway through this second quarter. What have they not done so far?
Well, they haven't consistently stopped the Kings from going down the field. I mean, Wilkes has started with their effectiveness both running and throwing the football. Tabar has been their most effective offensive player at this point.
And one of them will stay on the field, and they have not done that. They've punted 5 times so far today. Stat machine is down for King, so we'll try to get you some stats at halftime. Tabor out.
Again, low.
Long pass.
Yep. Long pass from one hash mark to the other sideline, and the ball's coming out of the quarterback's hands in a very unfavorable way.
Well, Coach Strock likes to pass the ball and run that RPO. The weather conditions dictate maybe you want to run a little more?
Listen, as a player, I hated playing in weather like this. Absolutely hated it, and especially rain more than anything else because it's hard to handle the football.
The rain is coming like right to left behind Tabora's back, and the wind is probably around 5 to 8 miles per hour. Inside to Curry, his first carry today. He's up only for a couple, just past the 15s. Third and long now, facing
Curry on the
Colonels.
On the carry.
Again, this is a game of field position at this particular point, and it's determined whether team is going to score or not. They can't sustain drives for whatever reason, and I think the weather has something to do with it.
Senior Charles McCall out of Sicklerville, New Jersey, made the tackle. Number 4, maybe his last game in a Monarch uniform. Speaking of uniforms, Kings in the red today. They're 4-1 wearing the Reds this season. Right now we're tied, though, late here in the first half. Both teams have a touchdown in each quarter. Tabora, nowhere to go. Mozaleski meets him, and Carcio as well. So here comes the punt team one more time for Wilkes.
What is this, the 6th punt? Is that you're keeping track of those?
Yeah.
Alex Orlando will be back to punt.
And not much yardage, except for that short drive Wilkes put together off the interception.
Yep.
The only difference.
Yeah, it was less than a 50-yard drive.
Other than that, the Monarchs defense has played well.
Bob, I hate to say this. It looks like it's going to start to snow.
Snow might be a little bit better. High hanging kick from Orlando. Takes a huge bounce.
Oh, going to bounce?
Almost a 50-yard punt for Orlando.
Officials will mark the ball.
And all the umbrellas are up in the area.
37-yard line.
And the wind is picking up now, right to left, as Kings comes on. We're tied at 7.
For the Monarchs.
3 timeouts remaining for each team.
Just 2:30 to go. Kings, I'm sure, wants to make sure that they hold on to the ball for the rest of the quarter, even if they don't score.
Yeah, they get the ball to begin the third. They defer the opening kick to Wilkes, and it really set the tone. They held Wilkes in check. They got the ball back with good field position, and they ended up scoring on their first drive of the game. More back into the quarterback position again.
That was Robinson on the carry.
Yep.
Short gain on the play, second down. Second down, Holiday.
This Wilkes defense came in, giving up 19 points a game. It did lose, remember, last week 30-0 to Del Val. Before that, they lost to Lycoming 30-27. So they can give up some points. They're not playing bad today. More behind him, almost picked off by Dylan Walk, trying to get to Basella.
He's playing a great game at that safety position. He's bird dogging that football. Quarterback does a nice job of getting out on the perimeter. He's got to know where those safeties are, though, Bob. They're the interceptors oftentimes.
And it was behind Basella.
Yeah.
Again, the ball is wet. Moore's played most of this first half.
I'm curious as to Shamar Ellis, how often he's played. He only had 267 yards. He's shown himself to be a pretty tough runner.
Moore tucks it in. Nowhere to go. Wilkes is right there. A yard gain at best, and Kings will be forced to punt. Timeout on the field for Wilkes. And that defensive front playing well.
That was by design. Tyler Moore was quarterback draw, and he's unable to break a tackle. And it's going to force Kings to punt the football. 1:40 to go, Bob. Let's see what's going to happen here.
The Monarch Black Fund, a perfect way to support it. Just support all 29 teams of Kings.
You know, these long snaps aren't easy under any circumstances, but when it's very rainy and it's windy, snaps to the punter oftentimes go awry, and if that's the case, it could prove to be dangerous for either team.
Well, I'm sure Coach Drock wants to try to get something going before the end of the half because, again, Kings gets the ball. So he calls timeout with 1:40 left. A little clock malfunction. Prado back to kick. Jules from his 30 will look to receive it. They do have a bad snap today from Kings. This is a better one. Rugby style. Low kick. Rolls inside the 30. It'll be down at the 27-yard line. So Tabora and company back onto the field, and Kings has done a nice job containing this big-time passer for Tabora. Against Misericordia this year, Tabora threw for 391 yards and 3 touchdowns.
Their pass game has been really ineffective up to this particular point. I know that Nate Whitaker has had a really good season. He's been targeted once or twice, but he's somebody that could be a key in this second half.
So the wind is at, if there's anything, the wind is at the back of Tabora. Maybe they throw a couple to Whitaker. I don't know what you can do here. Get it to Whitaker. You saw the ball come out and wobbles. Yep. That's the wind. That is the field conditions here.
Quarterbacks aren't getting much mustard on the ball.
Look at that ball.
See, it's coming off, and it looks like a knuckleball.
We say to get it to Whitaker, and they do.
You know, again, in this situation, run some routes that are going to be downfield. Go one-on-one. The matchups are important. Here we see, I don't know whether it's a cover 2 on the part of Kings.
Jules on the inside, nowhere to go. Hello,
It's
Mr. Mozaleski.
I'll tell you, when he hits you, Kings takes a timeout.
Bring up a third down and long.
Look at this hit by number 3.
Timeout.
Hmm? We've seen
Textbook.
that since he was a freshman in high school. I mean, really.
He's just a tough kid.
Make sure you visit the official online home
I'm
of
sure
Kings
Coach wants him to come back.
Tell the viewers what the coach told us about the Old Forge kids.
He said that they're tough. He said that they work hard. They're in the weight room. And you know, you take a look at some of them. They're not very big. Mozaleski's not a big kid. And he's, again, that DNA in Old Forge. And I said to Coach, going back from my earliest days coaching back in the area, when you played Old Forge, you better come buckle up with your helmets. I had one of my players get a tooth knocked out of his mouth.
He said you don't have to teach them how to use the weight room.
No, not at all.
You know, so they come in and they're able to play right off the bat.
But see, when you live in Old Forge, that's part of what that community is all about. I mean, it's the pizza capital, but it's also a football capital for tough kids. They've got a good chance of going to the States again this year.
They absolutely do. They won last week, and they'll play again next week. So after the timeout from the Monarchs, a third and long for Wilkes. DeBoer with the keeper. Ball's on the ground.
Loose.
Who has it? Kings is saying they have it. And
yes, he does.
Kings
It's Mozaleski has it.
Mose pulls the ball out. And great field position for the Monarchs here towards the end of the first half. And I believe the turnover chain might be coming out. If they can find it. Turnover built us out for Mozaleski. They had to find it, but they found it.
Great field position.
34-yard line.
Got a minute and 14 seconds to go. All their downs.
1:14 to play in the half.
Now, see, you have a matchup here, Bob, near their bench. It's a one-on-one situation. If you can get the ball down the field.
They're going to go to the other side. They come back with it. Wilkes is there, and Gonzala gets Robinson behind the line of scrimmage, so a tackle for a loss back to the 35.
Boy, this rain is blowing, as you said before, right to left, and that's where Kings is headed.
Here's the fumble again. They look at it quickly and ripped off by number 4. Moore, we come back live to the end zone. It's thrown out of bounds. It wasn't catchable.
That's Dylan Walk who was there. He was the closest to the football.
Yeah, you see Charles McCall go back real quick to that fumble, pulled the ball out, the senior linebacker, and Mozaleski pulled it in. So third down now for Kings. Wilkes doing a nice job holding their ground. Under a minute to play here in the first half. And a rainy, almost snowy day here at Kings. We always kid. We always say the MO is when the game's at Kings, it's bad weather. The game's at Wilkes, you guarantee it's going to be 60. So 2011, we were reminiscing before the game. We had the snow game here. Picked off, intercepted by Adaga, and he's lucky he didn't have a chance to take it back. Good job by the Kings College Monarchs to stop him, and a big turnover for Wilkes.
I'm not sure what the quarterback was looking at. He was looking a little bit to his left, and then he just threw the ball to his right. There were no Kings receivers around.
7th interception on the year for Moore. Adaga, that's his second, and Wilkes, after they fumble the ball over, was able to stop Kings, and we're looking to remain tied at 7 here in Wilkes-Barre.
They'll be able to get the ball downfield with this wind. It'll aid any pass thrown deep. I don't know how about the accuracy.
DeBoer comes up in the pocket, over the middle, and it is caught. Great catch in the middle by Jason Schwarzerhoff.
From William Tennant High School.
So first down, stop the clock, timeout on the field. So the Colonels inside Monarch territory with an opportunity, 27 seconds left and one timeout.
Schweizerhoff is one of the sophomores. There's 3 or 4 sophomore receivers that Coach really holds in high regard. That will be a major part of their program as they move forward next year. Between him and Corey Pelser and Nate Whitaker, they're really stacked at that position.
And it looks like they're stacked at quarterback. We saw 6 quarterbacks to be on the field warming up. We know Tabor is going to go, maybe try to play in Europe, continue his football career. But Powell, a sophomore out of Poughkeepsie, he's been playing a lot. He's injured. Hoovler is a junior. He's coming back. And they got 2 kids you mentioned, just over 6'3".
Yeah, 6
in height.
That always helps if you're a quarterback.
Back on the field. 3-man rush. Tabor to the outside of Whitaker. He comes back for it, makes the catch short of the first down. Clock's going to continue to roll.
The officials stopping the clock.
No, I think Coach called timeout.
Oh, okay.
Coach Drock called timeout. He had to. He had no choice. His last timeout of the half, 19 seconds left. Ball's at the 36-yard line. Short of a first down. Here you see Whitaker makes a nice catch, coming back for it.
Coach raved about his athleticism. He just said he's a player that makes things happen, not only just as a receiver, but once he catches the ball, he becomes a great runner. And this weather's intensified.
Yeah, some people are headed to the car for halftime, and the temperature is dropping. If Wilkes can win today, it'll be their
7th win?
Yeah, 7th win on the year. Now, other things have to happen. There is the MAC Centennial Bowl. Top 3 teams from each play each other. It's 1 versus 2, and then 3 versus 3 play each other. They have an opportunity if they can win today. If some other games, the dice come out where they need. If you get, a good dice roll.
Yep.
Well,
they control their destiny.
They do.
They've got to win today if they want to get in a bowl.
So 4 wideouts in, 3 to the near side. 3-man rush. Down to the sidelines, and this is picked off. Intercepted by Carcio. I think
so far
it is. Second INT of the day, and second INT for Carcio. Come over to get the turnover chain as well. Turnover belt, excuse me.
The quarterbacks are ignoring safeties. Whatever they're doing, they're not looking safeties off. You can see the corner there is locked on with number 1, but the safety's coming over into the passing lane.
So 2 consecutive possessions. They get the turnover belt.
I think they're going to take a
this
knee
one
here.
Out. Yep. Well, the weather is dictating what is happening in this game. Kings, Wilkes, 25th Annual Mayor's Cup. Tied at 7. Brendan down on the field to grab a coach if we can. And the weather continues to rain.
Or snow.
Oh yeah, or snow. Let's go down now to Brendan. He's with Coach Nar after this first half will play. Brendan?
Thanks, Bob. Coach Nar, your team played a very solid first half, defensively especially. What was the key for you to get this to stop this? It's a big Wilkes passing game.
Yeah, our kids are getting after them when we're playing tight coverage. The weather's helping, obviously there, but we're tackling very, very well, which is the key. Like, the first guy getting there making contact, is bringing them down for the most part. So we've been really happy with our aggressiveness, our physicality, and then we got to continue to do that and find a way to run the ball here offensively to move the ball down the field because the weather's an issue.
Yeah, you can see it. I'm about to lose the umbrella.
Yeah.
I'll let you get into the locker room, get warm for a little bit, and get back out here to play a good second half. Good luck in the second half.
Thanks.
Bob, let's go back to you.
Stay dry, Brendan. When Brendan comes back, he'll be underneath the tent. The 2 presidents are going to join us at halftime like they always do during the Mayor's Cup. We welcome them in, and they'll talk about their each individual schools. Great colleges here in Wilkes-Barre, and it's Wilkes Kings Mayor's Cup. Tied at 7 here on MyTV, WQMY.
You're watching the 25th Annual Mayor's Cup, Sponsored by King's College and Wilkes University.
Welcome back, everybody. I am pleased to be joined by King's president, Father Tom Looney. And Father, first of all, congratulations on the new job here at King's. Can you just describe a little bit about your role at King's College?
Sure. I've been associated with King's for over 20 years, and I've had wonderful positions there. I was a theology professor, chair of a department. I ran our campus ministry division, and I work with students who are having academic difficulties to help them to succeed. And now I have the great privilege of serving this great and wonderful institution as its president.
What's something that really excites you at King's, especially now having been the president now for a little bit of time, that really just excites you about the campus, about programs on campus?
You know, we're celebrating our 75th anniversary, our Diamond Jubilee, and from the beginning, we were serving the sons of coal miners to provide them opportunities for a better life. And King's has been doing that in amazing ways for 75 years. So it's that consistency to the mission, right? We work with young men and women. We seek to transform their minds and hearts. We're really about helping them to succeed, to become great citizens, great family members, great contributors to the community. There's nothing more exciting than working with young people and helping that to happen.
Absolutely. And what are some different individual projects that are going on around campus to promote the campus, the mission of this university?
Yeah, so we're working on some new programs at the college. We're about to transform the Times Leader building in downtown Wilkes-Barre into our first site for a doctoral program at the college, occupational therapy. And think about how important that is to our area, the healthcare needs, spiritually, psychologically, physically, of our community. So King's is always about providing programs that are going to get students great jobs in the future, but also are going to help to serve this local community, to make it a better place. That is really exciting for us. Our engineering program has taken off. We have a wonderful 3+2 program with Notre Dame. And the people at Notre Dame tell us the students that come from King's are as qualified, as able as the students who have been at Notre Dame. What a wonderful thing to hear, that our students are of that quality.
Yeah, and is there any program in particular that you feel can really expand on that and be that one set of students that can kind of set their program apart and set themselves apart?
Yeah, I think I'd say there's a couple of things there. First, we have a phenomenal core liberal arts program, because what do employers tell us? Employers tell us they want students who can think critically, speak clearly, and critically assess and analyze situations. And whatever major you have, if you have that solid foundation and core, you can get a job, you can move forward in your industry. You pile on top of that, if you will, a degree in healthcare. You pile on that a degree in engineering. You have great opportunities as a student to flourish, to make a great contribution to the community, to get a good job, to be set for life.
Absolutely. And how can our viewers find out more about the programs, different programs at King's?
Sure. Well, of course, our website, www.kings.edu, is always available to everyone. Tomorrow we have an open house, in fact. I hope it's not raining like it is today. We could use great sunshine. Because when people come to our campus, what do they feel? They feel hospitality, they feel welcome, they feel that special warmth of our community that comes from our faculty, our students, and our staff. One of the things that makes King's great is that personal attention that our staff gives to the students who come to us. Engaged mentorship is key. Working closely with students, our faculty treat every student as if they're almost their own child, right? They really help them to understand what are their gifts, what are their talents, how can they move forward in the world, what do they need to be a great person.
Absolutely. And if you heard from Father Looney, there's going to be an open house at King's tomorrow. Really appreciate your time, spending a couple minutes with us. Father Looney, great to have you. We'll be back with the president of Wilkes, Dr. Greg Kent, in just a moment. And welcome back here at King's. I'm now joined by Wilkes president, Dr. Greg Kent. Dr. Kent, it's great to have you here. First of all, you joined Wilkes University right in the middle of the pandemic, during May. So what can you tell us about what Wilkes has done during the past 18 months to really help students during this time? Because I know, speaking from experience, it was tough to go when you first went back online. How did you help the students adjust?
You're right. Across the country, all universities were faced with the same basic challenge. First of all, we were required to shut down. The Commonwealth shut all universities. So then we needed to get through that semester, so finishing out the spring semester, and then how do we restart? And for us, it was making sure we had the protocols in place, social distancing, masking, all the things that we could in that fall, remembering at that stage there was no vaccine, there was no medical solution. It was about social distancing. So that last year really was about keeping people safe. We did stay on campus. We had a number of online classes, but we were able to keep each other safe.
As we start to get a sense of normalcy now, what are some things that Wilkes has done to reintroduce some events that might have had to be canceled during the pandemic?
Well, a classic example is what gets played behind us. So last year we had no capacity to play sports. In the spring there were a few kind of essentially out of season sport games, but we've been able to play all our sports this year, and in most cases people have remained safe, and being able to play outside, of course, is always an option for people. So sports was one. We've had theatre back, so we've had multiple theatre opportunities, and rather than just virtual, people have been in the audience, and we've had several important events where we had outside speakers. We had a guy who happened to be a Nobel Prize winner, who was tremendous, got a big crowd of people along for that. And then the next night we actually had the founder of Travelocity who joined us to talk about the entrepreneurial process.
That's awfully cool, getting to see some great faces coming to the campus. So you came to Wilkes from New Jersey, and you're a native of Australia. So what can you tell us that drew you to come to Wilkes?
So I've been in higher ed for a long time, and we've been in the US about 20 years. So during that time I've worked in all sorts of different institutions here and around the world. And Wilkes is unique. It has all the ingredients that lead to success. We have a very strong undergraduate and graduate program. We have the kind of things that people want to study, professional programs in the broad range of areas. We've got a strong faculty, great staff, so we're well positioned to continue to thrive. So when you're given an opportunity to lead an organisation like that, it took me about 27 seconds to say yes.
Well, as we look towards the future, what are some things that you're really excited going forward?
So we're really excited that, again, after a really tough year last year, we had a really solid group of students came in. So we saw a 14% jump in incoming first-year students. Our graduate programs continue to grow and prosper, and we see lots of new opportunities. Interestingly, in the world where we needed to use technology to deliver programs. We'd already done a lot of that at a graduate level, but it's going to help us actually enrich the experience for lots of students while we still give that rich experience that happens on campus. Because when you come as an undergraduate, things like going to a football game, even when it's this cold and miserable, is part of the experience.
Absolutely. Dr. Kent, it was great to have you. An honor and a privilege. We'll be back for the second half in just a moment.
Welcome back to a cold, windy, rainy McCarthy Stadium. It's the 25th Annual Mayor's Cup, and at the half, we're tied at 7, and Bob Ide, Stan Koharski in a warm booth, kind of. Kind of. We have a bunch of coaches. We're right near what you might call the trapdoor to the booth here upstairs, and we have a bunch of Kings and Wilkes Colonels coaches going up the stairs behind us, so hopefully they don't get in the shot. But how about that first half? The wind and the rain really got worse throughout the half, and it kind of dictated what both teams could do.
Well, I see two factors in that first half. One is the weather, and the second is mistakes. Neither team really could sustain anything beyond the touchdowns that they scored after a mistake by their opponent. So ball security is going to be significant in the second half. Now, Kings gets the ball. If it were me, I'd want to establish my run game. I'd give the ball to number 40. He's been the most effective runner that they've had in there. So
let's quickly go down to Brendan. He's got Coach Strock from Wilkes.
Thanks, Bob. Coach Strock, it was a solid first half for your team. What kind of adjustments can you make going into the second half?
I got to hold on to the ball a little bit. I thought we turned the ball over twice in some critical situations. Then we got to capitalize on field position.
How is the weather going to become a factor?
Become a factor, it is a factor. So you just got to play with it. Both teams are playing in it. It is what it is.
Well, thanks a lot, Coach. Good luck in the second half. Bob, back to you.
It is what it is.
It
That's
is what it
exactly it.
is.
Let's take a look at some quick first half highlights as both teams get ready for the third quarter kick. Nice drive to begin the game. Robinson gets the first score of the game, and then an opportunity here for Wilkes, but a great punt by Prado.
Yes, it was, plus he got whacked on it, but he was able to prevent that. And there's a great defensive play, stopped Whitaker from scoring in the end zone.
So off the play action, Tabora takes it in, that tied the score. And then both quarterbacks, not playing their best.
No, poor decision making, Bob. I mean, when you're going to throw the football, you better have a plan. And you just can't throw it because you want to throw it. You've got to make sure that you know where your safeties are. In the particular case of Kings, they twice failed to do that.
This is the last interception as Wilkes had an opportunity inside Monarch territory, but it was picked off by Carcio, and that ended the half, and that's where we are, tied at 7. So Kings in the red, Pans in the red jerseys with the gold helmets will get the second half kick from Wilkes. They're in the white on white today with the gold trim and the gold helmets.
They look
yellow helmets, I should say.
They look a lot like Goldforge's uniform.
Yeah. That they do. We'll try to get you some stats as they're updating them as we speak. Onside kick picked off in midair by Kings. How about that try? And then number 37 looks like Alan Tristan, the sophomore. Wise Johnny on the spot picked it off.
Great field position. You got to give some credit to Wilkes for being risky.
Yeah, but Brendan Shire was the kicker. We have a flag down, and we have an offsides against Kings.
Offsides against Wilkes.
Wilkes.
We'll tack on the 5-yard
So the 5 yards will be tacked on at the end of that play. And Kings will have excellent field position. And how about that gutsy call to begin the second half?
I wouldn't deem it a mistake, but it certainly backfired on the part of Wilkes. They try to do something,
the ball went straight up, and then the wind took it.
Well, now give the ball to Ellis here. Establish that run game.
Instead,
Guides on a carry.
Guides comes up, number 11. He's mostly the running quarterback. He gains about 2, near the 22.
I'd still rather see number 40 get the football rather than the quarterbacks.
Second down.
Shamar Ellis has had a very effective first half.
So in the first half, Kings put up 99 total yards of offense. 80 of that was on the ground. Here is Ellis, and the bowling ball is up to the 15. Move the chains. It's a first down.
Bowling his way to the first down.
Until they stop him, Bob, I've got to feed him the football. He's running with great tenacity. He's lowering his shoulders, as I said before, getting his hips down, and he looks like he's a big kid. 250, you said?
Yeah, he's averaging almost 4.8 yards per carry in that first half. He's near 50. Mark Guides up through, taken down quickly.
Quarterback keeper.
On first down, only a couple yards.
Well, he picked up 3, but again, I've exercised my opinion here. You'll see him get the ball, and when he gets hit, he goes backwards. When the other guy gets hit, he's going forward. There's a difference there.
Nick Gonzala with the first hit in there, and then the rest of the cavalry came in. Second down. Back to Ellis, little end around.
He's got
He
space.
misses a tackle, and Vasella jumps one tackler, Woods, and he's up inside the 10. Third down now coming.
Again, they're both coaches going into their bags of tricks.
I was going to say.
Well, listen, you're playing. You've got a game here. Do whatever you have to do.
Third down.
The game you did last night, the flea flicker to start the game, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. So Giedis gets the start here. He's a Palmerton guy, a senior. Ellis next to him on the sidecar. 3 wideouts to the far right. Here is Ellis on 3rd down, following his blocks inside the 5. They're pulling at the ball. They can't get it. 1st and goal, Monarchs. But Wilkes says they have it. Let's see who comes up out of this scrum. Did Ellis cough the ball up? Well, we have 2 players on the ground, both with the ball. Still wrestling.
If there's a tie, it goes to the offense.
You know, both schools have good wrestling programs. So, they're going to call it fourth down.
Yep. Let's see here. Let's see the ball being yanked out.
Woods is trying. They did come out.
They did pull it out.
So that's why it's 4th down. He did have the 1st down on my call, but because the ball came out, they lost a yard. So it's 4th and 1 now. Good job by our crew. Lonnie Miller on that end zone camera today. Braving these conditions, and it looked like it got a little brighter.
Yeah, it does. And it doesn't appear that it's blowing right to left either, the wind.
The play clock has not started yet, and it is 4th and 1. Kings offense on the field.
4th and 1.
Kings today 1 for 1 on 4th downs. I'm giving the ball to Ellis. I don't know about you. Ellis has it.
And he's
rolling, bumbling, and stumbling in for a Kings touchdown. Just like they did to begin the game, they take a short field and they take advantage of it.
And again, it's good to see them riding that one stud that's carrying that football.
Has a hole, good blocking up front.
I mean, you get a kid that's 255 and he can run the football, lower those hips, as I said before. His shoulder pads are down, and he's always going forward.
Scavenge in, it is up, and it is good.
Nice job by the holder there.
So Kings is back out in front by 7 here in the Mayor's Cup game. We are back, getting ready to kick off. Wilkes opens the 3rd quarter with an onside kick. It's recovered by Kings. They take a short field, and they take it in for the leading touchdown right now.
Not only did they Kings field the onside kick, which was obviously the surprise, but they were offsides, which added another 5 yards and brought Kings closer to the goal line.
Wilkes held an early 7-0 lead for most of the 1st quarter. Then Wilkes tied it, and that's now Kings back out in front. Whitaker from his 10. A little bit of a gap, and he's going to be past the 35, 36-yard line, and that's where Jose Tabora will come back out. 2 of 8 in that 1st half, just 27 yards. In all, Wilkes in that 1st half only had 83 total yards on 26 plays. That's an average of just over 3 yards a play.
They've been sputtering. Obviously, you look at last week, of course, it was against DV, which was undefeated, 70 yards total offense. And actually, they had minus yardage in, I think, the passing game. They haven't been able to eliminate that today.
Powell saw some action last week in the 2nd half, but he is injured. So Tabora comes back out. They hand it off.
Okay. Had a little
Dylan White in there on the tackle.
Had a little extracurricular activities out in the area between 2 players.
Mike Krasinski wearing the number 0, which is a new thing to college football this year. He makes the tackle. So just a couple of yards on that. So now, again, not much of a win. The rain is slowed down. So let's see if that opens up the Wilkes offense now.
Actually, is the sun coming out?
What?
No, it's the lights. They put the lights on.
Jules behind Tabora. They give it to Jules. White comes in, makes the first contact, just a couple yards on that. Third and about 5 on the
Wilkes
way.
has found themselves in third and medium or long the whole afternoon. They haven't been able to sustain that first. They haven't won first down. Again, a good cut by Jules, but there's 3 or 4 Kings tacklers there. So it's 3rd and 5, a long 5.
And you make a great point. First half, third down, 0 for 7 in the game so far is Wilkes.
Well, they're not third and short. That's the difference. And where Kings, we had Ellis carrying the ball on 3rd and 4th down and picking up first downs or a touchdown.
Kings showing the blitz. They back off, just 4-man rush. Tabora with time. Over to Whitaker. He was 2 yards short of a first down. The ball's out, but whistle had blown. 4th down and 4.
Kings is doing a great job of tackling. They're swarming to the football. The receivers are being covered very effectively by the defensive backs.
And one thing, I don't know if you can tell from that, but Charles McCall, he is watching Tabora. That's his job.
He's a spy, and that's one of the things that you have to do. When you have a quarterback who can run the ball, you've got to make sure that you account for him.
Another low kick from Orlando makes a good bounce. And Kings will have it right outside the 20-yard line. A couple of pushing and shoving on special teams. Teams are broken up, and that's where the Monarchs come back out after they took the 7-point lead here in the third quarter.
Off the 22, 1st and 10.
So Moore in that first half was just 4 of 13 with an interception for 19 yards, sacked once. So Gitas got the start in the second half.
You can excuse the passing statistics because of the weather to some degree. I mean, it really has been a big factor. Now it seems the rain has stopped a little bit. The flag is still flying. It's furled, so the wind is still a factor.
Quarterback keep. He bounces off the pile, but shooting in is Ricci. Pat Ricci, his last game as a senior with Wilkes. He was injured a couple weeks ago against Lev Valley. He's worked himself back, and I'm sure he wanted to be on the field for this game. He makes the tackle for a loss there.
We've talked about this being seniors' last game. It's a very, very difficult day for people like that who are never going to play the game again.
Back to Ellis. Wilkes is there, does a nice job. They're trying to get the ball out every time. They're just punching at the ball, literally punching at the ball.
It'll bring up a 3rd down, maybe a gain of a yard.
Najir Woods, watch this. They make the tackle, and then they start pulling at the ball. Look at number 15.
Well,
he's not even talking about, he's just punching them.
You're coached to do that.
He's not even looking at the ball, though.
He's not, and I don't think he's even close to hitting the ball.
Dante Gonzala, part of the Twins. We'll have more on them coming up later in this half. But on 3rd and long, they keep Gitas in. Gitas has an interception thrown today. 4-man rush. Over the middle and either slipped out of his hand or was low pass to Bazella. And here comes the punt team.
The accuracy has been nil. Both quarterbacks, actually the 3 quarterbacks, have not thrown the ball effectively at all. Now here we're going to have a long snap. And this is about the spot where the one went over the head of the Kings punter earlier in the game.
And we saw this a few years ago. Wilkes had trailed in the game, and then Kings unraveled, and it all started with a bad snap on a punt, right in about the same position.
Well, if this punt is good and it's fielded well, Wilkes could have good field position.
Prado back, good snap. Almost blocked, but Jules from his 43. Up past the 50, inside Monarch territory to the 49.
That was good coverage by the punt team. Again, making sure that the returner doesn't get outside. There's got to be an edge player there to force him back in where your other teammates are going to be able to
and
make
Old
that
Forge
tackle.
guy made the tackle, Mike DeGrorio. You know,
Yeah, we talked about him. You know, he's been great on special teams, and returns particularly. Last week against Stevenson, he did a great job. His one return set up a touchdown that Basella scored against Stevenson.
Let's go defense! Viking, make a play, baby!
Tabora, nowhere to go, and it's intercepted. Picked off by Kings, a little bit behind the receiver. Third interception of the game.
Number 41.
That is Colin Hazelton out of Mid-Valley, who pulled in the INT.
He did a great job. He covered him, and then the receiver adjusted. You'll watch here where the potential receiver adjusts to it, and there goes Hazelton. A little prejudice, the Lackawanna Football Conference kids.
Third time the belt has come out today for the turnover belt for Kings. And all 3 interceptions.
As a quarterback, former quarterback and a quarterback coach, Coach Drack must be pulling his hair out.
Excuse me, 2 interceptions and 1 fumble.
Yeah.
But Robinson going nowhere, hit in the backfield
Back to the line of scrimmage.
by number 33, Jesmer, the senior.
Flag on the play.
And a flag comes in. Well, let's see what the call is.
Somebody got pushed out of that muddle huddle there area, but I don't know who it was.
Bill Murphy, our referee. Unsportsmanlike against Kings. So they'll back them up 15 yards.
15-yard penalty against.
Back almost to the 30-yard line. So
remember what we said coming into this, mistakes, penalties, that type of thing is going to be a factor in this football game.
A lot of emotions flying. Both teams kind of got together in pregame. No really pushing and shoving, more yelling back and forth, trying to get themselves hyped up. But, you know, there is bragging rights for this city. Quick into Basella. He bounced to the outside, breaks a couple of tackles. He's past the 45 to the 46 to the original line of scrimmage, so a gain of 15.
The original line of scrimmage. Up a third down. 3rd and 10.
Nice hard running from the senior.
Was that play before this a loss of down to the penalty?
15, 3rd and
No,
10.
should have been because it was unsportsmanlike after the play. It was after the play.
Okay.
So that's why.
It's third down.
So it's 3rd down, yep. Gita's still in as the quarterback. Ellis behind him. Gitas did have a big game against Lev Val as he shoots it out off the mark. I mean, against Lev Val, he threw for 159 yards, 15 to 32. That one was way off the mark, so 4th down, and it looks like the punt team will come out now for the Monarchs and play the field position battle.
I think both coaches are not going to be very pleased with the accuracy of the quarterbacks. I don't mean to be overly critical, but they've really been off the mark more often than they should be.
So another punt from Prado. They almost got to him last time. He's going to do a rugby style again. Low liner fair catch by Jules at the 22-yard line.
Ball at the 23-yard line of Wilkes, 1st and 10.
So Wilkes trailing in this one. They won the last time the 2 teams met, which happened to be right here in 2019, 24-14 in that game.
You know, you feel bad for the players who've lost the year and might not get that year back.
Well, Tabora came back. He is considered a senior, 5th year. And again, he will leave as the all-schools all-time leading receiver up to Corey Peltzer. And he's still on his feet. Peltzer caught it for 2 and then gained 5 more after that.
He's one of those sophomores that we talked about earlier. The coach is really high on. Peltzer,
He refused to go down.
Jason Schweiserhoff, and of course Nate.
How about this effort, though?
Second down.
And a big push from number 72, Aiden Balachik, out of Nazareth, the first-year player.
Moving forward so the officials don't blow the whistle.
And for people that want to know, that is legal.
Absolutely.
You can push. You can't push in the NFL, though.
But you see those big linemen coming and just there's a scrum.
Let's see what sparks this Wilkes offense. Ball's out! Big hit! Recovered by the Monarchs. A huge hit by Carcio. Knocked the ball out of Ciori's hand and it went flying in the air.
Kings has really done a great job of getting the ball, getting turnovers. Watch this hit. Wow, puts his shoulder pad right on the ball.
McCall recovers it, and the belt is out again. 4th time today.
That came close to being caught in the air, and it would have been a pick 6.
Yep. So another turnover for the Colonels. Here, look at it again, low angle, belt.
Look at that. Ooh. Oh, you got to love this game.
Giedis in his quarterback. Basella on the end around. Cuts back in, another big hit on that far side, gain of 5.
Basella has great feet. I haven't seen him play before this, but you can just see he's setting up an opportunity to cut in. You watch here. In, back out. In, back out.
Second and 6.
Makes it very difficult for tacklers.
Well, the Gazzola brothers had him in the backfield, and he couldn't make the tackle. And a little comeback to Carey. And Carey makes the catch just inside the red zone. Now to the 19, 3rd and short facing Kings.
Carey does a nice job of getting both hands under the ball. He squats down. He's been coached to do that.
Kings has taken advantage of the turnovers from Wilkes here in the second half. They've
Now,
already scored 1 touchdown.
Are they 2-down territory here, Bob?
I am. Giedis.
Cut up.
He has a first down. He's past the 15 to the 13. Gain of 5. And the running game starting to heat up now for the Monarchs.
Does a good job here coming off that block. Gets that first down.
Good block by Liam Carroll, number 64, out of Notre Dame Green Pond.
This is going to be the Ellis show here. There he is.
Give it to the Monarch Masher.
Wilkes there to make the stop. Ramos in there along with Hess.
Yard on the play.
And a flag down.
Second down and 9.
Excuse me, no flag. Thought I saw something yellow. Late in the 3rd quarter here, Kings on the move. After the fumble recovery, set them up near the 30-yard line, inside Colonel territory. They give it Ellis. Ellis has a hole. Ellis towards the end zone.
It's into the end zone. Touchdown.
Touchdown, Monarchs.
Where has he been? Is he a converted tackle?
I don't know. Well, here, look at it again. I mean, a huge hole. Oh, the knee might have been down before he had the ball through, but I didn't see an early signal. So Prskavich in for the PAT to give him a 14-point lead. Good job by the holder to pull it in, and it is up and through.
Bob, when you look at your stats, the time of possession is going to be critical here. And again, Kings has dominated this most of this 3rd period.
There's Ellis' 2nd touchdown today. He's just a first-year player out of Philadelphia. He only had 64 carries coming in.
I mean, over 9 games, that's what, 4 carries a game? Well, people are in this spread. No, I don't see a quarterback getting underneath the center hardly at all on any level, high school, college, the pros, and that's the way it is. And you usually have the one back that you're playing off, and there's no lead fullback or anything like that. So the game has changed a lot.
3:07 remaining in the third. Still a light rain coming down. The wind has dissipated just a little bit. But it is still precipitation coming in.
Wilkes needs to secure the football in one way or another. They can't turn it over again.
2 interceptions and 2 fumbles today. So, and 2 directly you can link to touchdowns for Kings. The ball blows off. Just as I mentioned, the wind isn't blowing. It picks up, of course.
We said during the week when we talked and discussed how we were going to approach this that you throw the records out.
Absolutely.
And again, this game has been evidence of that it doesn't make any difference what your record is. This game is a rivalry.
Well, one thing that Brendan Mozaleski told me, he said, our backs are against the wall. They didn't feel like they had the season they wanted to have. They want to even their record, and I think they've come in with more emotion in this game.
They've played with a great deal of energy. I mean, it's been very evident. Wilkes hasn't mimicked that.
No, not
at all. We haven't seen that from them.
Wilkes came with the better record, but in this game, it doesn't matter. It's going to be a short kick for Whitaker from his 15. Let's see if he can make a good return. Mozaleski misses him. Late hit, no flag, into the Kings bench, and Wilkes is back out to the 35-yard line.
There's no way, Bob, for us to measure this, but you wonder what the after effect of the loss last week. And again, Delaware Valley's undefeated.
There are 2 losses, if you really think about it, back
exactly.
to Lycoming.
Lycoming.
Here are the standings coming in. Delaware Valley head above everybody, ranked 10th in the country. Widener, FDU, Lycoming, Wilkes, and there you see the records for the MAC this year in the last game. Again, there'll be some bowl games coming up. Wilkes is in the running if they can pull out a victory here today. Kings definitely thought their record would be better this year. But they do have a young team as well. Jules off the RPO. Really nowhere to go. Yard gain, and that's generous.
Maybe a yard.
Good job by.
Part of the RPO is the running back's getting the ball 4 or 5 yards on the other side of the line of scrimmage. So he's got to make that up, and defenses are flowing to the football, and even when you get to the line of scrimmage, you're picking up 1 or 2 yards.
This defense for Kings today came in giving up 23 points per game. Right now, I mean, they're playing excellent football. They've only held this third-ranked offense from Wilkes to 7 points. Tabora back. Here comes the rush. And he goes down. Miles Shelton from his end. 4th sack on the year.
Kings tacklers are flowing to the ball carrier. He comes around, he beats his blocker. Shelton does, and pulls Tabora down.
On a sack.
Brendan Boris out of Mount Carmel couldn't make
third down.
put Shelton down. He just couldn't.
3rd and
handle
18 now.
Yep.
What we said, they're not managing the football.
0 for
The
8 today. Wilkes. Timeout on the field, I believe, by Kings.
Yeah, there was a little confusion there. I think the defensive coordinator was a little upset with what was called or what wasn't called.
Kings Athletics, donate to the Athletic Fund. Perfect way to support it. Support all 29
As we
teams.
said, Wilkes opened the season on fire. I mean, they opened up with a big win, couple big wins. Even Stevenson, which ended up beating Kings, and then everything. The ship started to sink because they lose a close one to Lycoming and then get shut out by Del Valle.
I was a little surprised that Stevenson started the season. I think they lost 4 or 5 games right at the beginning, and since then they've played pretty well. They had a great quarterback-receiver connection. The one receiver scored 3 touchdowns, and the quarterback was a lefty, Ryan Sedgwick. Very good player.
Okay, 0 for 8. They need to convert this. 3rd and 16 now. Let's see if they go to Whitaker. 1-on-1 looks like on the outside. Three-man rush. They get some pressure on him.
He's down again.
And they got him.
Wow.
2 in a row.
Kings is playing inspired football on the defensive end.
Dallas Solomon, the junior, out of Hazleton. Here we go.
They're just not able to defend. Protect the passer.
Hazleton was there to sack him, the first man there.
Perhaps one of the things that Wilkes can do is move Tabara out of the pocket area and let him see if he can throw the football on the run.
Orlando with another punt.
Rest.
Right about the 42-yard line. We're under a minute here in the third quarter. 2 scores in this quarter for the Monarchs. That's where we stand right now. Cardinals defense needs to step up if they want to pull out another victory.
Now you said Wilkes won this game in 2019?
Yep, by 10. 24-14. I mean, this is the 34th meeting between the two teams. It started back in the 40s. It stopped. The Kings brought back football in the early 90s, and this one started up for the Mayor's Cup in 1996. And Wilkes holds the advantage 22-11, but in the last 10, Kings has come on, and we're at 5-5 in the last 10. Great game there.
You can read that play. Once the ball is snapped, the back is just attacking the line of scrimmage to block for the quarterback. So it's a designed run.
Kings has rushed for over 140 yards here today so far.
This is going to be the end of the quarter.
End of the quarter. Thank you, Coach. It is. Put your fingers in the air, put 4 up. We're coming to the fourth quarter in the 25th Annual Mayor's Cup. The Monarchs want to cut back. Right now, they're in the lead.
Welcome back here for the start of the fourth quarter. I'm joined now by Kings Associate Vice President for Academic Success, Rochelle Plummer. Rochelle, can you tell us a little bit about some of the work that you do to help students succeed going forward in their lives?
Absolutely. So at King's College, we work really diligently to ensure that we create meaningful relationships. And so our students know ultimately how we can support them and who we are. And so we do this in a variety of ways through celebrations, such as hosting events with our First Generation Committee or our Hispanic Outreach Program, but also through our support services, such as our Academic Skills Center or our Academic Advising Office. And by serving students in this way, ultimately they know that we are a committed community and that we are really into their success.
Well, the Kings students are definitely going to like that, a big touchdown for the Monarchs. So you're relatively new to Kings. What are some things that you're finding that are really not good about the community up at Kings?
Yeah, so that's an interesting question. First, I guess when I started here, one of the things I noticed is that at King's College, they really are about action. They work really hard to put their best selves forward. And by doing this modeling, our students are able to see that in response, and then they do the same. And so that helps with soft skills on top of the academic skills that they get or those hard skills that they learn.
And what are some ways that prospective students can learn about some of the things that your program does?
Yeah, if you're in high school, check us out tomorrow. We're having our open house. You can do your registration online at www.kings.edu. And so register with us, check us out, come see us, and see what we're about.
Well, thank you so much, Rochelle, for your time. Bob, back to you.
Thank you. And as you saw, Brendan mentioned the touchdown. We did see it in our box and box. Pick the ball up after a fumble and throw it downfield to Joe Herman out of Whitehall, and we'll look at it again in full screen. Go ahead.
Just missed handling the ball. The quarterback comes up, has the awareness to look downfield. Joe Herman is wide open. A backbreaker for Wilkes.
His first touchdown on the year. And you know what? None of the linemen were downfield.
Exactly. You know, that's what I was just wondering. Obviously, it was a run call. The mishandling of the ball between Ellis and the quarterback, and it pops up, and the quarterback had, again, presence of mind. He's made some mistakes in terms of throwing the ball today. That's not a mistake. That's something that he's going to cherish for the rest of the season.
One thing you learn about this game, expect the unexpected.
Exactly.
And we've seen a lot of strange things over the year, weather-wise, play-wise, and you know what? Don't count Wilkes out.
No, that ball's been bouncing around all over the lot.
So a 3-touchdown lead now for the home team. Prskavich tees it up one more time.
Well, you know, this puts Wilkes in a situation where they're going to throw the ball, but he's been sacked the last 2 times he's been back in the pocket to throw the ball.
Yeah, they'll go good field position here, and Tabora comes back out. And Wilkes right now today, you know, they have less than 100 yards of total offense.
Again, I don't know. I can't measure the effect of last week's shutout, whether it has anything to do with it or not.
They're going to make them kick again. I mean, this is an offense ranked 3rd coming in. They put up 367 total yards. That's throughout the whole season. But really, since that loss at Lycoming, something is not working.
Coach said something about the youth of the team, that the season has been really long for them. Maybe they're fatigued mentally, more so than physically, obviously, and that could play into this. But that's not something you can measure, Bob. You know, you just hope that you're focused. And he kept saying that.
And he traced it back to the high school kids. Some of them didn't even play last year.
That's right.
The freshmen last year didn't play a season in first-year college.
Right.
And this is a long season for college football, one you're not used to, and much more physical game.
Yeah, it's a long season because it starts early in the summer.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like it starts on August 25th or something like that. It starts early in the summer.
So Prskavich, this is the high hanging. Jules comes up.
Somebody better get it.
He makes the catch at the 33 with some speed. Bounces to the outside. Good return, about 20-some yards, and the Colonels come out with one of their best field positions of the day, out near the 44-yard line. So Tabora, the senior, his last game, will love nothing to lead this team back. There you can see he's in the huddle, trying to urge his classmates on. Let's see if they can get a quick touchdown. Plenty of time in this one.
It's going to be interesting to see. One of the things that Coach Drack mentioned to us, that as far as King's defense is concerned, that oftentimes they mix it up and you don't know when people are coming and they're not coming in terms of blitzes and things like that. You take a look here, there's only a 3-man rush that it looks like, but then somebody's coming off the edge.
Well, they get him again.
There it is again.
I think that's 3 straight times he's come back and 3 sacks in a row for Kings. McCall in there again.
Again, they've got to take Tabora out of the pocket area. I mean, they just drop him back there, and he's not being protected by his linemen. So if they could just move the pocket and let him throw the ball off the run, maybe they'd be more effective.
That's the 4th sack of the day for a Kings defense that came in with 18 on the year. Four-man rush. Better protection here. Tabora over the middle, and it's in and out of the hands of Schweisserhoff, and great defense on the backside by Carcio.
Again, as I said, you see the lineup that Kings puts against the offense, and there's only 3 men there, and that's all that's rushing on this particular play.
A little bit behind him.
Yeah, behind him. Well, you know, he's running for his life. I mean, when you move the passing zone out of the pocket area, you're under control. This way, you're trying to avoid the sack.
DeBora rushed. Swyzhov comes back, but he's well short of the first down. Gain of about 5.
Do they punt here, or are they going to?
Last game of the year. Me, I'm a gambler. I always say go for it. So don't ask me.
It doesn't look like they're sending the punting team on.
Bring up a 4th down. 4th down, call it 7.
You're down 21.
Well, there's 12 and a half minutes to go.
I mean, DeBora can do it with his feet, but he really needs protection. He hasn't gotten it over the last series or so. 4 wideouts in there now for the Colonels. Kings show him blitz. They back off. They rush 3 with time. DeBora has a lot of room on this side.
Tuck it away.
Oh.
Block from behind
there it is.
on
There's a flag on the play.
Peltzer. The kind of the blind block they're trying to take out of football.
Exactly.
He had a first down, but
Against the Colonel.
and Peltzer's still down after that hit. Flag came in immediately.
That was a good call.
That's the blind side block they want to take out. We'll see it again.
Timeout for the
I'm
injured
sure.
player. The Colonel on the
Peltzer is down after the hit. It was definitely going to be a foot race. Here comes, right there is the hit. Blindside block. DeBora had the first down, it looked like, but this one's going to come back. You saw the blindside block, almost a block in the back, too, for that. That's a tough one on.
It is. Kings is doing a nice job. They're rushing sometimes 3, sometimes 4, and I think they're continuing to spy on Tabora.
They are.
Because he can't go straight up the middle. He's got to go to the perimeter when he's running for his life.
So Peltzer is back up. He committed the penalty there. He's walking off very gingerly. So now it's going to be 4th and long. Do you kick here or go?
Well, there's 12 minutes to go.
4th down.
Ball will be right at midfield.
Yeah, well, you kick it from here. I mean, you can't.
Well, the offense is coming back on for Coach Strock. It's going to be 4th and about 16.
Well, watch King's alignment here. You'll have a good idea of how much pressure.
Well, good thing for Kings. Or for Wilkes, excuse me. Wilkes is 0-10 on 3rd down, but on 4th down, they're 2 for 2 today. Excuse me, 1 for 1. 3-man rush.
Only rushing 3.
Down the sidelines. Goes incomplete. Intended for Devin Higgins. And the Monarchs take over on downs right at midfield.
Now they're going to control the clock, which means that Wilkes is going to attack. They're going to send people. They're going to stack the box as much as they possibly can. And the job of Kings is to use the clock.
Okay, Brendan, we talked about the Gazzola brothers, number 2 and number 15 down there, and kind of a unique story for Wilkes.
That it is, Bob, and both of them out of Cherry Hill, New Jersey, were very highly recruited out of high school, Nick and Dante Gazzola. And they wanted to stay together. They played together since they were little kids, and they wanted to stay together, and Wilkes has really reaped the benefits of it over the past couple of seasons. And their defense has been better off because of it. 2 of their top defensive players at linebacker, Dante being the leading tackler on this Wilkes team, they've both done an outstanding job. They're just sophomores, though, so they're just getting their feet wet. Bob?
Yeah, both are out there now playing defense. And they've done that for a long time. And Ellis comes up gingerly after that first yard play.
Gassed. I think
well,
he hasn't had this many carries.
He's going to go into the tent. Ellis with almost near 100 yards carrying the ball today. Giedis still dragging players up near the 30. And there is one of the Gazzola brothers who makes the tackle.
Pick up on the play. 2nd down. 2nd and 3.
he does a great job of, again, attacking, keeping his shoulders square to the line of scrimmage and moving forward. The last 10 minutes, he's been very effective running the football. You can see where he was the second leading rusher.
Ellis with 86 yards rushing. Robinson with 23 so far on today. Giedis right off that left guard.
And it looks like a first down.
Yeah, it looks like the mark is going to be right at the line to gain. Just inside the 30.
Okay. First down for Monarchs. 10.
Move the chains.
Keep that clock running if you're from Kings.
Anything here is probably the knockout punch, if it didn't come already.
Well,
Kings trying to pick up their 12th victory in this series overall. Robinson breaks out. Robinson inside the 10 to the 5.
First down, Kings.
they get this in, Bob, it's going to be very, very difficult.
Here's the 23-yard gain again.
Great job. This is his biggest run of the day. And he didn't play last week, I don't believe, at all.
No, Ellis played a lot more.
First and goal from the 5.
Misericordia beat Kings 2 weeks ago. Stevenson last year. This is the way the Monarchs would love to end it. Take home and take back the Mayor's Cup. First and goal. Giedis with blocks. Guidis knocked out of bounds inside the 5.
Colonels knock him out. Short, second down and goal.
1, 2, just they're just gonna keep running the ball and keep the clock rolling.
There's no reason to do anything but that.
Woods on the tackle there. Jesmer coming in a little bit later on.
Wilkes has to be very disappointed. In the last 7+ quarters, they've scored once. And again, DV is a good team, as you've said. This is probably a little bit of a surprise as far as Wilkes is concerned. Not that they underestimated Kings.
Well, they're under 100 yards again of total offense.
Right.
They were third ranked in the conference coming in. Guidis again. Good job by Colonel. The Colonels to string him out. Woods comes up from his quarterback position, and Ramos there as well.
Now, again, as a coach, why are you running to the short side of the field? I mean, you're just leading. You have all your defenders there. It's really difficult. At least use the wide side of the field.
Off the 5-yard line.
And we have an injured Colonel. 7:42 left here in the fourth quarter.
Injury for the Wilkes player. Officials timeout.
Looks, I can't see who it is. It might be Woods, but an up and down season for Wilkes as Woods gets up.
The Mayor's Cup and the MVP plaques.
And here's what we saw from the Monarchs this year. I mean, they lost to Lycoming and Lev-Val. And maybe should have beaten them. Nice win over FDU Florham, who's in the third spot right now of the MAC standings. And in the last couple of weeks, they haven't played up to what they want it to be. But you win this, it doesn't matter,
That's
right?
Exactly.
Doesn't matter. And they came in definitely, as we talked about throughout this telecast, with more energy.
Exactly.
More emotion, more energy.
I'm impressed with their defense and the way they've tackled. I mean, everybody's running to the football. They're wrapping up, and of course, they've created turnovers. They're milking that clock.
Down to 5. They're going to go to Back to the short side, wide open, touchdown Kings. The H-back for Kings, that's Brandon Cohen. His second touchdown of the season for the senior.
Well, they used the wide side of the field, Bob. Took the quarterback to the wide side, dragged the receiver from left to right, and he was wide open, not anybody even close. Here we'll see it again. There's the quarterback going to his left, watching the whole way. Ball's up there forever.
That's directly on my left. And Mary Terre
Bad
is the
snap, and it's taken. The PAT will be no good, but the touchdown will count. 34-7 as we head towards the end here in the 25th annual Mayor's Cup game.
And welcome back here to Kings. I am joined now by a couple of young ladies from Wilkes University, Mary Terre Quintana Avila and Amelia O'Connor. Mary Terre, I'm going to start with you. You're both members of the Bonners Leaders Program over at Wilkes. Can you tell us a little bit about what the program is for our viewers?
Yeah, of course. So the Bonner Leaders Program is a 4-year program, and we kind of just base our program off of community outreach, direct service, and leadership training. It is based off of a federal work study, so all of the work that we do does count towards a work study, but it typically just focuses a lot on community outreach and service, building that leadership training and the members of the program.
So I'm going to ask both of you the question, but I'll start with you first. What drew you to the program?
So I was attracted by the program because growing up, my parents benefited a lot from these programs and the generosity, such programs like the Bonners programs. And so seeing that generosity and benefiting families like my own and members of my community, I just knew that I wanted to be a part of something like that, just to give back to my community. And I just saw how great it was and how well it worked out.
Amelia, same question to you.
So I've always been at Catholic school since I was little, so it's something that's always been encouraged since then, and I genuinely enjoy service and helping out, and I think it's good that everyone gets involved in something like that.
So what kinds of activities have we seen so far, and what kind of activities can we look forward to seeing in the future?
So far we've helped out at Ruth's Place, a women's shelter in the area if you aren't familiar with it. For our fall break trip, we went to CEO a couple of times, and we helped out there to package food for the elderly, and we're very excited to find out what's next because we don't know either. We really don't know.
Well, ladies, thank you very much for your time, and good luck with everything in the future. Bob, send it back to you.
Thank you, Brendan. Thank you, ladies. On the field, we have a new quarterback. Hoovler's back. He's in the game for the first time today.
The ball was put on the ground again.
And the whistle came right there. I don't know if they didn't see the ball.
The officials didn't see what happened.
Yeah, an early whistle there. The Kings faithful on this side, not happy with that. Mistake there. So some of the backups now getting some playing time.
Clore on the carry. Third down.
So Clore.
Timeout. Officials timeout for the Kings.
We have an injured Monarch down on the field. So Clore getting the most of the action today. I apologize, I mispronounced his name earlier. And here's what we have coming up here on MyTV WQMY. We have an exciting game coming up on Friday. We'll let you know what the playoffs will look like in District 2 next week. And then after that, we'll start our high school hoops season here on MyTV and college basketball. There you see Mid-Valley, North Pocono boys, and then we'll head to Bucknell for our first of 3 Bison telecasts as they take on LaSalle University. Well, it's gotten brighter. The umbrellas are almost away, and somehow we think we've weathered that storm right on schedule. They said it was going to stop after 2, and I think it just did. Hoovler back for his first pass. Flushed and knocked down.
Kings secondary has been exemplary playing in this game. They've done it. They've covered those receivers. They've blanketed. And again, here's a new quarterback throwing off his back foot.
Amir Gibson, a first-year player, knocked that one down.
You know, we said all week, Bob, throw the records out the window. Doesn't mean a thing for this game, and this is more evidence that that's a truism.
A flag down. We have a holding call declined. Well, the punt team on for the Colonels with under 5:38 to play in this one. Basella goes back deep to receive the kick. Orlando back out.
Orlando back to punt. Basella deep.
8th punt of the day for Wilkes.
That's not always a good thing.
High hanging and fair caught at the 22 by Basella, who says, I think I should have taken that one. I had some running room there, maybe
I'm
more
not
than
sure
he thought.
Signal a fair catch.
Yeah.
He just put his knee down. You can see that he's a little frustrated. I think he's laughing at himself.
Let's go, baby. 8-0, baby.
First and 10 for Kings from their own 26-yard line.
So it's back to the recruiting trail tomorrow, I'm sure, for both coaches. Break down the game, head to the weight room next couple of weeks. Some decisions have to be made for players who are considered seniors but still have that 1 year of eligibility.
Do they have a date for that? Is there a deadline?
I don't think they do. I don't know. A flag comes in from the field judge.
Probably too many people on the field.
Kings is starting to feel it. Some hugging going on, and some of the backups now in for both teams. And I said, you know, Kings coming in wearing the red, 4-1 on the year.
You were prophetic about that.
Well,
Robert.
prophetic was in the game notes, so I'll be honest with you.
Well, you brought it up, and now it's fulfilled prophecy.
Here you see Ellis again.
First down at 5.
He's had a good game. I mean, he's been a little bit of a difference maker.
He has 17 carries for 86 yards.
It's a good day's work for a big young man.
Try to get him to the 100 mark.
Baxter with the carry.
On a lot of teams, he'd beat a tackle.
Looks like he's first down. First down, Monarch.
He's going to be looking for some ice after this game, guaranteed.
Well, it'll be happy icing.
So the trophy will move down 3 blocks now, remain in the hands of Kings College till hopefully next year we get back on the field, and we will. Ellis again.
And he's still moving. And the pile still moving.
And the rugby pile is up for a first down.
You know, I think you're right that they kept him in there to see if he can get his 100 yards.
Shermore Ellis.
He's tapping out. He wants out.
Shamar Ellis. We're under 4 minutes.
And give a lot of credit to the Kings defense in this one.
They were the difference. There's no question. 4 turnovers that they were able to capitalize on.
Wilkes, the senior, he has room. He's tackled from behind inside the 30. Gave 27.
The Kings defense never allowed Wilkes to get on track. We've said it, and you have the stats there, 3rd and long most of the time. It's tough to win football games if you're not in a position where you can control, what you're going to run because of the down and distance.
Billy Doran, sophomore on a wall, Paul Pack made the tackle for Wilkes. Clock remains to tick here at McCarthy Stadium.
We just look running room. Pick up about 2 on the play. 2nd down.
And give credit to the Kings offense as well, because they used short fields they had. They turned their turnovers into points, and they were effective in that. They've gained 322 yards on the day.
Well, most of
of
it's been on the ground, hasn't it?
Yeah.
They haven't thrown the ball that effectively.
Nope, I'm glad you asked. 228 yards rushing for Kings.
And the MVPs of both teams.
There's a young man running the ball, holding on and securing it, and he doesn't want to put it on the turf. We're under 2 minutes.
Yep.
Third down and 2.
Look like number 26. In the program, it says it's Jalen Dorsey, first-year player out of Bishop McDevitt. Guidas. And the first down and more, still on his feet inside the 5 to the 4.
10 first and goal for the Monarchs.
Great run here by Guidas.
The last quarter, he's been very effective.
He's adding to that rushing total again.
Well, that's why he was 2nd on the team in rushing.
One minute left in the Mayor's Cup. Going to go over to Kings.
They're going to take a knee here, Bob.
They held Wilkes to 94 total yards.
Amazing.
A team averaging over 300 yards.
Kings College Monarchs will be the 2021 Mayor's Cup winners. Final score will be 34.
The clock will roll out, and that will do it. Time to shake some hands and celebrate a victory for Kings College. They'll finish the year at 5-5 overall. Wilkes will drop to 6-4 and out of any bowl contention. Both coaches shake hands, and all the players, I'm sure, will see each other over the next few days. So we'll take a quick timeout, then we'll get to our players of the game and see the trophy being hoisted by Kings College.
You're watching the 25th Annual Mayor's Cup, sponsored by Kings College and Wilkes University.
Back in Wilkes-Barre, both teams lining up for the presentation of the Mayor's Cup. Kings with a big victory over Wilkes, 34-7 is your final score. So we'll have 2 players of the game from each school that the schools will present trophies to, and then we'll get the trophy hoisted. And you mentioned, what's the difference today?
Kings was able to run the ball successfully. Again, I don't know what the completion statistic was for Kings passing-wise. It was negligible for the most part. They were able to run the football, control the clock, create turnovers. 2 fumbles, 2 interceptions. That's the difference in the game.
Well, Ellis with a career day, 102 total yards on 19 carries. He's our 1 player of the game, and defensively, Brendan Mozaleski ended up with 6 total tackles so far, 1 for a loss.
What's interesting, Bob, is that Shamar Ellis had 64 carries for 267 yards, no TDs.
Yeah.
And his longest run was 23 yards. So today he was 102 yards, you said?
Okay, let's go down to Brendan now with our players of the game from Kings College. Brendan, who do you have?
Well, I do have Brendan Mozaleski with me here right now, and you guys did an unreal job of holding off this Wilkes offense. How'd you do it?
We just showed up just like any other week, do our 111. That's what our defense is based around, is doing our job. If I do my job, then everybody else's jobs are a little easier, and that's how it's contagious, man. We went into this game, we had our backs against the wall. We felt like we had something to prove, and, I couldn't ask for a better last game, so.
Yeah, you pretty much just answered my last question. Being a senior, what's this mean to you?
I mean, the Wilkes game, it's always one you look for. Like I said earlier in the week, luckily it's the last game of the year for us. It's a great way to go out, and I just want to thank all the coaches and the school and everybody who's made this possible for us. So thanks.
Well, absolutely, congratulations. You've had an outstanding career here at Kings. We look forward to seeing what you do in the future. Let's bring in Shamar over here. Man of the hour, running for over 100 yards. You ran all over this Wilkes defense. How are you able to find holes to do it?
My O-line, they believed in me. I think I'm going to thank my coaches because I'm a freshman. They just threw me in the water, and I did my best. My O-line, thank all of them. Opened up the holes for me. The 100 yards, that's all of them. It's not me. I just found the holes. I just seen them.
Now, what does this win mean for you, being a younger member of this team?
This for all the seniors. They had my back since I got here. When I've been here, as soon as I got here, I was welcome. Felt like this is my family already, and they just adopted me in, so it made me want to play for them for the last game.
Well, absolutely. Congratulations on an outstanding win. Bob, let's send it back to you.
So Mayor George will present the Mayor's Cup back to Kings, and they'll hoist it and end the season, as I mentioned, with their 5th victory of the year and a big celebration as the sun comes out.
I was just going to say the same thing. Kings brought the sun to Wilkes-Barre. Bob, it was interesting to listen to Shamar Ellis. He was almost overwhelmed by the fact that he was able to carry the ball as often as he did today and as effectively as he did.
Great job by our crew weathering the storm. Our camera people today, Alex Gross, Ben Stott upstairs, Coy Wilson upstairs, Lonnie Miller, and of course John Gumble with the handheld camera all afternoon long. And we'll do a quick interview with Coach Nar. Brendan.
Thanks, Bob. Coach Nar, what a game defensively for your team. I think that's got to be the story of the game for your team. How are you able to hold off this Wilkes offense?
Yeah, I mean, our kids they played hard. They had a great week of practice, and they were very physical today. I thought we tackled, like I said, at halftime, extremely well. The weather helped with the pass game, but our secondary did a good job covering, and then we got some pressure in the second half to get some key sacks, in that third quarter, from that deal. So I thought our defense, they've been playing well all year. They did a great job there, and then we were able to control the ball, running the ball on the ground offensively. So it was a complete effort.
You allowed 94 yards for Wilkes. Offensively.
In the conference, so that's a tremendous credit to our coaches and our players for playing as well as they did on that deal. The high-powered offense that was one of the better running teams and passing teams. To hold them 94 yards is flat-out awesome.
You get this win, you get back to 500. What does it mean not only to get back to 500, but to win this game of all games?
This game's huge because, again, now anytime you win the Mayor's Cup, that's a special thing. To go 5-5, right? It's not our ultimate goal, but we've done that now 5 years in a row, and only 3 teams in our conference have won 5 or more games in the last 5 years. So it just shows that we're a sustained relevance in the league, and then we're just trying to keep steps that go forward from that deal. But anytime you win the Mayor's Cup, it's a special day. So.
Well, thanks a lot, Coach. Congratulations. Go ahead and celebrate with your team.
All right, thank you. I appreciate it.
Thanks a lot. Bob, let's go back to you.
Thank you, Brendan. It's been busy this afternoon. We want to thank Wilkes University and King's College for supporting us in televising today's game on MyTV. We want to thank Stan Koharski coming in, and I hope you enjoyed it, Coach.
I did. It was exciting.
It is always exciting here. You never know what's going to happen in this Mayor's Cup game, and an awesome job by our crew in the truck as well. So for here on MyTV, we'll be back on Friday with Friday Night Rivals, game to be determined. But here, it was all King's College at home. They take care of Wilkes. The final score, 34-7. This is Bob I saying so long and enjoy your weekend.
You're watching the 25th Annual Mayor's Cup, sponsored by King's College and Wilkes University.